Hello and welcome to When They Popped. I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Mary.
I'm so excited for our guest today, Mary. We have been chasing after Joel, who is O-Town's tour manager for literally years. And if you have been listening to this podcast for a while, you know that Mary and I consider ourselves to be late in life Townies, meaning we did not see O-Town live until 2 years ago. And that was like a huge mistake because
we blew it. We
blew it.
We know.
To think of all the years, the summers that I didn't see Pop 2000, like it actually makes me ill to think about it. And knowing that O-Town have been back together since 2014, like, wow, like we wasted way too much time. So we're grateful that at least better late than never. And we've been dying to talk to Joel because he has such an interesting role. We have just been dying to hear his perspective of watching the rise of O-Town back in the 2000s and then them coming back together. And now again, seeing what it's been like to watch their resurgence as Y2K nostalgia is so hot right now.
We are thrilled. Honestly, at this point, consider Joel a friend. So this was a really cool conversation. Before we get into that, Kelsey, you were at the Backstreet Boys Uber One performance in New York City, the elusive concert that everyone wanted to be at. Can you give us a quick rundown? What was it like? How close were you? You looked pretty close. What kind of set list did we have? Like,
I have goosebumps. Can you see my goosebumps?
I can see the goosies. Just run me through the high points here.
Okay, I don't want to make anyone feel bad who wasn't there. Mainly you.
That's okay. No, I'm okay. I saw them in February. I'm okay. I'll survive.
I have never seen Backstreet Boys in a venue this small before. I don't know how many people were there, but it felt like hundreds. And I'm used to seeing them in venues where there's like tens of thousands, like sphere. So this was such a unique experience. And I thought, it's a party. Mark Ronson was also DJing. I expected maybe we'd get 3 or 4 songs like I Want It That Way, like the one.
Right, like a mini
Quit Playing
set list.
Games. I thought we'd get a 15-minute medley.
Yeah.
We got like a full hour and a half set. And
you had the DNA, basically.
They did the DNA intro, and I lost my mind. There were a few diehard Backstreet fans, so I obviously immediately found them at Barrier. And I strategically went to the side so we could be like right in front. And I talked to Howie for a little bit. He took his earpiece out because I was like, Howie, you have to say, put your fingers in the air. And he was like, should I? And I was like, you have to say, put your fingers in the air. And I Want It That Way happened to be the next song that they sang. And he did put your fingers in the air. Every single person put their fingers in the air. And then he came back over to me and did the put fingers in the air. So he kept coming back over to me, like doing the finger sign. So everyone around me was like, do you know Howie? Like,
yes, we do.
And I was like, well, my friend and I have a podcast and Howie was on our podcast. And they're like, oh my God, he totally knows you. So they fed my delusions really well. It was a really friendly crowd. Everyone was really excited to see the Backstreet Boys. But Andy Cohen was there. The Summer House cast was there. Lindsay Lohan was there. The fact that I was watching a Backstreet Boys concert with Lindsay Lohan in the same room in the year of our Lord 2026 just really blew my mind. They sounded so good, Mary. AJ sounded insane.
I know. He's been so good.
Some of my coworkers were there and they were like, do they sing live? Like it sounded like they sounded amazing. I was like, yes. They all sing live. Brian sounded really good too. Like Howie, I noticed like took some parts that maybe we're not used to hearing, but it was kind of like Cancun when we were like, well, like
because he doesn't do that in Vegas really, which is interesting.
There was one part where I was like, normally I thought that was Brian, but like who knows also. I was just so excited. The energy was insane. They were interacting with the crowd so much. At one point, AJ just jumped up in front of me at the barrier and was leaning over, and I had to like arch my back away from him.
Too close.
Because he was so close.
I know that feeling.
I didn't want to make him uncomfortable. He was right there. And then they were reaching out. There was one point I had a moment with Brian where both girls next to me were recording on their phones and just standing still and recording. And he kind of made fun of them. He like stood there with like a blank look on his face, like he was holding up a phone. And I did not have my phone up. I was perfectly in between them. And I put my hands under my face and smiled at him. And I did the little like wave under your chin move, like, hello. And he thought it was really funny and did it back to me like for the rest of the night.
That's amazing.
Like this. So it just felt like they were loose and having fun. I imagine they had a really long press day before that. They have been promoting their new Paw Patrol song. They mentioned it, but they didn't perform it. Man, being in a room with people who aren't like diehard Backstreet Boys fans and having them know the words, it always feels like emotional.
It's a win. It's a win for us.
It was a win. And my friend Shelby was there too, and she has never seen a Backstreet Boys show. And I was like, I don't even know if you're going to know any of these songs. And she was like, I feel like I knew all of them. Like, because they were just so omnipresent. And even my coworkers, most of them are Gen Z. They were like, that was amazing. Like, I get it now. I get why you take off work to go to Sphere multiple times now.
Win. Wow. So educating the youth.
I think we're going to have a company retreat to Sphere now, which will be amazing. But it was just such a great show. They sounded amazing. They looked amazing. The energy was there. I have to say, Nick Carter.
Diva.
He has never looked better, never sounded better.
Oh, wait, really?
During Don't Want You Back, he did the Don't Want You Back.
Yeah.
I fainted a little bit. We got a lot of Nick, lots of smiles. Everyone just seems like they were happy to be on the road again and amazing vibes. So it was literally insane to watch Mark Ronson, the great DJ, open for them. It was very cool.
It sounds incredible. Looked incredible. So glad you got to go. Thank you so much for giving us a little rundown of your experience. And now, without further ado, here's our interview with Joel Helgesen, O-Town's tour manager. Since we started When They Popped more than 3 years ago, we have had the privilege of speaking with amazingly talented people who work behind the scenes in the music, TV, and film industries. These guests may not have their names on the album cover or their faces on the poster, but without them, none of it happens. Our guest today is Joel Helgesen. He's O-Town's tour manager. He's Trevor Penick's longtime friend. He auditioned for making the band himself, and most importantly, he is a fan favorite in the Townie universe. Joel, welcome to When They Popped.
Thank you all for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Joel, we're so excited to have you. Did you know just how elusive you are? We got a Backstreet Boy on When They Popped before we could get you to agree to come on after chasing you for 2 years. We're so excited to have you.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here. And it's been a long time coming, but I'm ready to answer all the questions that you have for me and keep going.
Let's do it. Well, let's start with your origin story. How did you and Trevor first connect? Tell us how that friendship came to be, which eventually led you both to auditioning for making the band.
Yes. Well, so the story goes, Trevor and I technically went to preschool together. Did we know when we were 4 or 3 or however old you are, 5? I don't know. At the time, no. So once we finally got to high school, we went to different elementary schools and middle schools, and we got to high school, and, we both were playing basketball in 9th grade on the freshman team and kind of build our friendship through that. And one day we were going to the beach together, and we were driving in the car, and he's like, yeah, that's where I went to preschool. And I was like, kids will be kids. That's where I went to preschool. So we kind of put the line, we kind of drew the line, and we were like, okay, that's weird. So we've known each other for a lot longer, but not knowing. So and then we reconnected and we played basketball and all through high school and, a lot of the same classes and that kind of thing. And then we graduated and went to college together. And so it's been, I guess, at least 30 plus years now that we've really known each other, excluding the, when we were 4.
Those friendships are hard to come by and even harder to maintain over the years. So that's really special.
Absolutely.
And so whose grand idea was it to audition for making the band? And how did you first hear about the show?
Okay. So when we were in college, Trevor and I, we lived in the dorms together and we were kind of inseparable. There was another friend. It was the 3 of us. And we kind of brought this the boy band thing. We were kind of the only kids around college at 18, 19 years old that were listening to boy band music and pop music. So kind of was synonymous with the both of us. And a mutual friend of ours, I was working for the school newspaper at the time. And I remember her coming into the office and she's like, hey, I got this lead for this television show they're putting together about boy bands. And she's like, you have to put an audition video together and send in headshots and stuff. And she's like, I really think you and Trevor should do it. So I was like, okay, sure. So I talked to Trevor and it literally happened on a Monday and we had to have this video and tape in by a Friday, let's say. So throughout the week, we were able to get access to the TV video studio at Cal State Fullerton. and we shot a video, him and I together in the same video, singing and dancing, which hopefully that video is 6 feet under somewhere
I
and
was
it
just
never
going to say,
resurfaces.
where is it?
Hopefully nowhere to be found. So we were able to finish this video. We took some like headshots, literally like glamour shots. Like it was so embarrassing. And we like sent it off. I think it was to be sent off to like Bunham and Murray. So we sent it off. Time goes by, maybe a week or two, and I ended up getting an email back. And it was, you've been selected by Bunham and Murray Transcon to audition in front of a panel of judges. So I'm like, wow, this is crazy. So, like cell phones really weren't a thing at the time. So I remember finding Trevor wherever he was on campus. And I was like, yo, look, I got this email. Like, did you get one too? And he didn't get anything. And this was right when we were starting getting emails and people were creating accounts and stuff. So he didn't get anything. So I told him, I said, listen, man, they want me to audition at, 9:15 up in Universal City Walk. And I wanted him to come with. I think it was Hard Rock or House of Blues, one of the two. I don't remember which one, but I was like, just come with me and open audition. I was like, one, I need a carpool to drive, like just come with. So we convinced them, we drive up. I had my audition at whatever time it was, 9:15. I got in front of the panel and Lou and all the executives and did my thing. Mind you, Trevor's in a line of people outside that are like opening auditioning. And while I'm in the audition, I get finished and I noticed that they have taken him out of line. There was probably 500, 600, 700 people waiting to audition. And they had taken him out of line. And I remember seeing him. I was up on the balcony finishing and I saw him like down below and I was like, what's happening? And he was like, oh. So needless to say, I finished and they took him in to audition and he did what Trevor does. He just blows people away and the rest is history. So I sat and waited and I remember sitting there and I was just like, okay. And he pointed down to me. He's like, they're taking me to this other room. I have to do this other thing. It took hours. And then he comes down. He's like, bro, they need me to come back tomorrow to like audition again. So I said, I can't come, but he borrowed a friend's car to get back. And yeah, the rest is history. So it's a cool story, the way the whole thing evolved. And I couldn't be happier the way that the cards fell because he deserves it more than anyone in the world. So yeah, that's kind of the story in a little bit of a nutshell. Yeah.
So what you're saying is O-Town wouldn't be O-Town without Joel. Trevor would not have been in O-Town without you.
O-Town would have still been O-Town. Do I take full responsibility? No, because getting him there, I'll take responsibility for. But him getting to the point where he's at now, that's all on him. Like
of course,
him getting in front of the judges and getting in front of Lou and all the people that were making decisions about moving people forward in the audition process, 100% Trevor. And we all saw it on the show, how energetic and charismatic he is. And after I got him there, the rest of it was all him. So take partial credit, I guess.
A little bit. You deserve at least some of that credit. So what do you remember about being in that room and standing in front of Lou Pearlman, especially as a boy band fan? Were you just dying inside? What was that like?
To be honest, I think I was 19 at the time, maybe 20. And I'd never been in an audition process like that before. So I was extremely nervous. And I'm sure it came through that way. I didn't feel confident when I left. I was like, on to the next. But you had dozens of people just kind of staring at you and there's video cameras and all the things. So to be thrown in that, like for me personally, it was out of my comfort zone. Some people are really good in front of the camera and playing up the whole thing. That just wasn't me. So it was incredibly nerve-wracking, to be honest with you. And the song that I sang was Girl on TV, which I didn't necessarily say that I knew at the time, but that was my audition song. And it wasn't like I was singing a song that I'd known my whole life. This is like I probably was rehearsing it in the car the whole way up. And then you get in front of all these people and it's like, and yeah, for being that age, it was a lot. It was nerve-wracking for sure.
How amazing that you go on tour with Brad from LFO now and watch him sing Girl on TV. That is so full circle.
The whole process now and where we are in our lives and where we've gotten, you sit back times and you're just like, man, like 25 years ago, we were popping these CDs into our cars and listening to them and waiting for the, top 5 at the top of the hour on the radio to hear the favorite songs. And now you're working with and alongside these artists, every day. it's just crazy how everything kind of came completely full circle and still continues to. So just blessed really to be where we are and where I am specifically. Yeah.
That's amazing. So,
Yeah.
have you always been a singer and a performer? Tell us, like, did you dream of being in a boy band yourself?
No, no. And that's the funny thing is it's always been fun, right? It's fun. You're in the car, you're singing, all the things. Did I ever want to be a performer? I mean, sure. When you're 18, 19 and you like the attention and all that stuff. And, I dabbled with the piano and with the guitar and stuff. I mean, did I ever take vocal lessons as a kid? No. Did I ever take music lessons as a kid? No. It was just something that you did and it was fun and that kind of thing. But I never woke up every day thinking, today's the day I'm going to be an entertainer. I want to be on stage. That wasn't really ever going to be my thing. It just wasn't.
I still love that you went for it though. Like there was this cool opportunity to audition to be in this lightning in a bottle boy band put together by Lou Pearlman. You shot your shot. Now look at you. I feel like there's such a great life lesson in there.
It is. And I'm far more suited for the role I'm in now. Let's just put it that way. Like going through the process, like with that, making the band time and stuff, the idea of it was greater than what I actually was going to be able to bring to a project like O-Town or whatever they were putting together at the time. I look at the guys in the band and Jacob and Eric, all these guys wanted to do this from the moment they can remember. They were in theater as kids. Trevor was in drama. He was doing music. All these guys had paths to get to where they were. I was just kind of like, oh yeah, I'll do it. You look like a boy band guy. Like you could belong in that group. Sure, I'll go audition, But where I'm at now, I'm far more comfortable and my role is what I'm doing is far more suited for me than entertaining or being on stage or anything like that.
We do love catching glimpses of you on stage, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But so making the band happens. Trevor makes it into O-Town. O-Town takes over the U.S.
Yeah.
What were you doing during O-Town's original run? Tell us about what was your journey like post-college? What were you up to?
So that would have been late 99, 2000. So I was still in college at Cal State Fullerton. I was running the Daily Titan, which was the student newspaper. So I was the business manager there. I was doing communications with an emphasis in entertainment studies. What at that time I wanted to do with it, couldn't tell you, but I enjoyed the art of it, entertainment and television, radio, film, like all that stuff, music. I was really captivated by that kind of stuff. And I knew I wanted to land there in some capacity. Working at the newspaper, I was in advertising. So I was like, maybe I can do something with that when I got out of school. But while O-Town was being created and stuff, I was still going to school. And when I finished with that degree, I couldn't find work. So I ended up just doing like a lot of people do when they can't find work or when they get out of school and they're not sure, is they go into the hospitality business and restaurant industry. So I started working at restaurants and it just kind of became a thing where I got sucked in like a lot of people do. The money was really good, better than anything I was going to be making doing entertainment at the time. And it just kind of, for a long time, I went from graduating to working in restaurants and for almost over 20, 25 years from all capacities, from, dishwasher all the way through serving, bartending, managing, running restaurants. So that is kind of where I have a lot of my background in the hospitality business.
And what was it like watching your best friend be part of one of the most insane, successful boy bands of all time?
Proud. I mean, growing up with him and him wearing, he's in high school and in college, he'd wear this actor hat and said actor. And that was always, it's what he wanted to do. Like he wanted to be an actor, Denzel, Will Smith, like he looked up to those guys. So seeing this play out on television in real time, seeing him basically achieve his dreams at that time, even more so now, but especially then, was like the happiest thing for me because he wanted it so bad, and getting this opportunity and being blessed with the gift that he has and being able to show it and watch him go through the process as a young man, like we were then, was really, really, really cool. It was really cool for me. And like our family and our group of friends, we all were so supportive because we all kind of shared it together with him too, which was really cool.
That's incredible. So then in 2003, O-Town breaks up. They reunite in 2014. When were you kind of brought into the fold in your position as tour manager, and how did that come about?
So in 2014, Trevor and I were living in the same complex. And I remember him saying, "Oh, we're getting back together." And this is, it was great. And at the time, I was managing a restaurant in downtown LA. And that was kind of what I was doing. It was 55 hours plus a week, 65 hours a week. I was tied into that. That was it. So when they were getting back together back in 2014, they were probably pretty uncertain as to what to expect themselves. So as the ball kept rolling and they kept doing things and album and, touring and all this stuff, fast forward a few years later, like I'd say maybe 2019, I had some opportunity with the job that I was working to break away on the weekends and kind of get out there and help. Because I remember Trevor had asked, "Hey, would you be interested in tour managing us?" And I was like, sure, I guess. So I kind of just gravitated towards being like, all right, I'll work the restaurant and run the restaurant during the week. And then on the weekends, I'll get on a plane and go do a couple shows with the guys and utilize whatever they needed me to do. If they needed help with, VIP or, merch or logistics of the day, sure, I'll do it. No problem doing that. So I was doing that. And then obviously, guess what happened in 2020, right? I mean, we all know COVID came, and not only did it shut the entertainment business down pretty much to a screeching halt, it did for a lot of businesses. And my restaurant that I was working at the time was a really small mom and pop place in Bel Air, California. And, we were able to stay open and just do to-go stuff. But I knew at that point that it was over. Like, I needed to get out of this. I needed to pivot, right? So I took on this role of trying to do mortgages. And that lasted 3 months. I literally came home from lunch one day and I said, "I'm not going back." And I've never done that before because I have way too much integrity, but that's how much I couldn't do it anymore. And I remember I called Trevor and I said, "Hey, I'm not going back to work." And he's like, "Oh, wow. Okay, well, hey, we may need somebody again." This is 2022, right? So a couple of years removed, and they had been kind of back out on the road, but the tour manager they had at the time, he was going to start a family, and his Monday through Friday was taking a bigger role in his life. So he was going to probably step out of that. So the timing was kind of perfect where I was able to get in 2022 and start taking over the roles of the TM then, even though it was kind of like I was thrown into it. It was like a learn on the job kind of thing.
You kind of started doing the weekends. And then after you had this conversation with Trevor and you were ready to take your career in a new direction, you basically took this on full time and were handling the day in and day out for them, basically.
Yeah. I didn't really know what it was going to entail. It was like, "Hey, we need you as the TM." Okay. Looking at the schedule, it was still kind of blotchy. There weren't we didn't have a ton of tour dates on the books. So it was like I was still going to need something else to do when I was home to supplement the income. And that was a really difficult thing for me to try to find because I couldn't go to a new employer and say, "Hey, here's my tour schedule. I need off 16 weekends this year to be out, but I can give you Monday through Thursday." That really didn't fly. So luckily, as the years progressed, we've gotten a lot busier. We've added more dates, more shows. Our tour, which we kind of quote as the tour that never ends, never stops, because we go all year long. And luckily, because we're doing, upwards of 60 shows a year now, there is no time for anything else because the job that I do isn't just show day. It's everything leading up to that. And I don't think a lot of people realize that.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what goes into your day to day? I think we all have ideas of what a tour manager or someone in your position might do, but we have no idea.
Yeah, the day to day is not really show day. Show day is 90% of my job is done on show day. So everything leading up to that is, where is the next show we have? When is it? Where is it? It's connecting with the venue, figuring out the logistics with the venue. What does your backstage look like? What is your hospitality, policies? We do VIP. This is what we do. Where are we going to do that? There's a lot of things that go into, and it's a lot of back and forth emails, phone calls with people at the venue. Then you're dealing with different people at the venue. Oh, this is our production guy. So luckily in this situation still, Jacob handles a lot of the production stuff, a lot of the back of the house, which is production, technical, most of that stuff. He kind of handles that. I deal more of the front of house hospitality, handling, our VIP merch, all that kind of stuff. So we kind of divide and conquer in that regard. But a lot of it is getting organized and making sure I've got everything that I need and people know exactly what we've got coming when we come in, who our personnel are, what our schedule looks like for the day. And that's the thing at being incredibly detail oriented and organized because there's a lot of moving parts. And if you're not really prepared to go into a show, that's when things have a tendency to not go pretty.
I understand that. And I understand also that work is work. Work is a 4-letter word. But what would you say is the most exciting thing or you enjoy most about your job?
I like that it's never the same as much as it is the same, right? The shows, may look the same kind of thing. We're in a different venue. We're in a different state. The traveling and the ability to see and go places that you probably would, if you look back 10, 20 years ago, would I ever end up here? Never in my wildest dreams would I think so. So that's a really cool thing. And being in different parts of the country, different regions, different foods, different people, that is really cool. And it's something that I don't take for granted at all either. The ability to travel and move around. So that's a really fun aspect of the job outside of the job itself. But like I said, the scenery sometimes changes the show. Maybe it's the same, but the people you meet in between and the people you deal with are different, which I like creating relationships with our venues and people that we work with. So I do enjoy that a lot. Yeah.
And what is it like working with your best friend or one of your oldest friends? Are there any unique challenges that come with that?
Well, I guess he's like my boss, right? So like my best friend's my boss now. Again, it's a blessing. This is a great opportunity. As we get older, a lot of our friend groups grow apart. They've got families, they've got things going on and stuff like that. This is a great opportunity for me to see my best friend, even though we're working together. He's professional about his work. I'm professional about my work. We respect that, but we still have the friendship, so being able to be on the road with him and experience a lot of these things together is great because friends at this age, they don't really get to do that as often as they think that they can with, their group of friends or their best friends because everyone has family life and kids and jobs and all the things. And it's nice to kind of encompass, a couple of those things and be able to take work and friendship and kind of put it together and be able to enjoy that together with him. So it's great.
That sounds very special. Now, what advice would you give to someone who, maybe has aspirations of trying to get into the industry, trying to become a tour manager? It sounds like you didn't necessarily have the most traditional path to get there. Like, is that okay? Can people still do that?
I think so. And the nice thing about, this business, or you can call it nice, or you can call it a crutch, if you will, or whatever you want to use, there isn't really a direct line of path, right? Like there's no real rule book. The way that I approach tour managing and the way that I keep myself organized is the way that I do it. The way that Jacob does it when he was doing some of the advancing for the shows and stuff is the way he does it. I catered the way that I do my things to make sure it's easy for me to understand and how I do the work. So I think someone getting into the business, I'd be more than tell them, kind of what everything entails and how to do certain things and whatnot. But you're going to take all that and you're going to create your own way of working in the role or in the position because, it's different. Each tour is different. Each show is different. There are different aspects of the job, but more or less you kind of have to take whatever you're given and kind of mold your own way of doing the job that suits you and the band that you're working with. So it's the easiest way to kind of put it into words, I guess. But realistically, it is a very detail-oriented job. And anyone that would want to get into doing it, you got to stay on top of it. Schedules, time. You got to keep a schedule, keep a flow of the day, which can be challenging at times. But you got to be able to pivot a lot because things come up from time to time.
Do you think managing a restaurant helped you with that detail orientation and maintaining schedules? That must have helped.
I honestly think that if we're going to say I do a good job at what I do, it is because I have a ton of experience in customer service and hospitality and people working in that business. You deal with every walk of life. I think we all can associate to that. There's, rich, poor, old, young, there's all kinds of people that you learn to deal with, and being able to communicate is very important as well in this job. But I do take a lot of what I learned as far as managing restaurants and organizing and overseeing and managing people. And I use that to the way I approach my job now and the way we treat people at the venues and the people we work with and the other artists with just respect and dignity, and make sure that every time we're showing up, we're on time, we're nice, we're friendly, we're pleasant. And when we leave, we're please and thank yous and all the things. And I think that just goes a long way in this industry, because I've heard so many times that people have come across just really rude and not appreciative artists and stuff. And it's really important to me that we don't leave an impression like that ever. So that's one of the things I take a lot of pride in, is making sure that, we build relationships. And again, you build good relationships with these venues, guess what? They're going to ask you back. And it makes the next time a lot easier because they know who they're working with. So that's a very important aspect for me in the way that I approach my job. But yeah, definitely restaurants and managing people and overseeing and dealing with people 100% correlates to the way I do my job today. 100%.
Mary and I can attest to your hospitality skills from the fan experience, because for all of our listeners, if you've never done an O-Town VIP, Joel shepherds you through this experience. And you were the first person that we met when Mary and I did our first O-Town VIP. We had no idea what to expect. And you were so amazing, made us feel so welcome. And you were like, so here's what's going to happen. You guys are going to stand over here and then you're going to go on stage. And Mary and I were like, wait, we didn't know we got to go on stage as part of this package.
Where was that? What show was that?
It was in
Foxwoods.
Foxwoods.
Oh, it was Foxwoods?
It was like 2 years ago
Couple years ago.
And it was our first O-Town con. Like, we had no idea what to expect. And you were like, yeah, you're going on stage. And we just looked at each other and we were like, oh my God. But you set the tone. It felt so casual and you were so welcoming. We were obviously like a little nervous to meet O-Town. And it just was such a fun vibe. By the end of it, we were like cracking jokes with you. So we can speak from the fan experience that you are amazing at your job. You kept everyone on track. I mean, managing 5 guys and their schedules must be really difficult, but the vibe is set from the second the fan walks into the venue and they start interacting with the first person, whether it's management or the merch table, and it sets the vibe for the rest of the night. And we have always had such amazing times, whether we're doing it with an O-Town standalone or Pop 2000. You do an amazing job.
Thank you. And I kind of look at it as like, this could be your first and only time that you're ever going to have this experience, right? So I'll do my best to make sure it's the best experience that you can have and make sure that you're enjoying it and getting the most out of it. Because sometimes people do this for the first time, and they only do it once ever, or they do it all the time. And I want it to be consistent, right? So if you do it a bunch, I want it to be consistent, whether you do it once or multiple times. So why not? I mean, be friendly, be nice. Like, this is fun, right? This is supposed to be fun. Yes, it's a job. This is a job, right? But we can have fun doing it. And you guys are, the fans take time out of their day to get there early for VIP and make the sacrifices to be a part of something that we offer. And if I want to make sure that it's fully encompassed, right? So the moment you get there, I want to be able to, greet you and say hello and, do my best to remember everyone's names and put you through the whole experience so that you're getting exactly what you wanted. And hopefully you turn around and say, wow, that was amazing. We want to do this again. And, we see you again down the road. But I appreciate the kind words. Thank you.
No, it's true. We wouldn't say it if we didn't mean it. And we obviously are fangirls of O-Town and of other boy banders. And for some people, that's like the people that they had the poster of on their wall their whole lives. And this is like the most exciting thing that they could ever imagine. So to have it be such a great experience from start to end, the care that goes into it is palpable and noticeable. And we've done a bunch of VIPs with other bands before, and O-Town just stands out as such a unique experience. And like you said, remembering someone's name, like that goes such a long way. It makes you feel so special. So we notice it. We appreciate it as fans. And if anyone listening to this has not done an O-Town VIP before, we can't tell you enough times how worth it is.
Come see us. Come see us.
It is so worth it. You will get your money's worth.
The guys are super personable. Guys are great.
Amazing. Like, they tell personal stories. Oh my God. Dan was talking about what his kid was saying, like soccer practice or something. We just felt like we knew them already. And it was a really unique, super intimate, casual vibe. And you just don't get to sit around and talk to boy banders every day. It's such a unique experience.
Yeah. And then I get caught listening and I'm like, wow, I never heard that before. That's pretty funny. Yeah. Okay, back to work. Okay, got it.
You're like one ear, you're like, what are they saying now? What damage control do I need to do?
Yeah, oh no, yeah.
Okay, speaking of, we want to know some like interesting stories that you may have or memories from the road, what's the most like chaotic thing that ever happened where you had to fix it?
Okay, so I mean, it was more scary than anything. I mean, and it was kind of out of my control, but it was last 4th of July, we had an outdoor show in Albany and there was an active shooter after the show. And I mean, we have our security meetings and we talk about it, and it happened, it was after the show. We were out doing our selfie line and there were fireworks going off prior to us starting. And then you heard a different popping sound. And luckily there was quite a few law enforcement around. It was away and it wasn't directed at our show. It was a block, over, but nonetheless, you don't take anything by chance, right? So, we had to kind of lock down and wait for clearance to get out of there. And, sadly, we live in a world where that happens and it's unfortunate and we have to be diligent and vigilant when stuff, happens. So luckily nothing did happen. They were able to take care of it, but you got to be on your toes and always kind of be checking your surroundings and stuff. So that's one thing now, moving forward, not only for the outdoor shows, indoor shows, any shows, whether it's in a theme park or anything, we do security meetings. We talk about these things because we have to. And, we also get people that think they can walk on stage. And we've had random people just walk on stage. We had a guy when we were in Michigan come on stage with an iron. And,
what? Like a clothing iron?
He got quickly escorted off and security, came. But there's those are the things that you don't anticipate them happening, but they do. And you have to be able to control your surroundings and make sure that your people, your artists, everybody on stage, everyone's, taken care of. But those are things that are unscripted and happen. And you've got to be able to know where to go, what to do, how to address it, where are the security, where are the law enforcement to be able to intervene on these situations. Because unfortunately, stuff like that happens and it just comes with the territory. Right. But keeping the band and the artists and everyone safe is priority, obviously. But sorry that wasn't, a funny,
do you have a funny
chaotic,
story that you want to follow
chaotic, story to tell? But I mean, off the top of my head, I was like, well, yeah, those things have happened. So there's a lot of fun things that happen throughout the day, but those are the very important things that you definitely have to worry about, especially in the role that I have and in the rest of our team that's on tour have to worry about and be cognizant of.
Of course. You want to be prepared. You hope you never need to use your training. One of those.
Absolutely.
So, is there something that fans would never know about that may be surprising to learn about what's happening behind the scenes? I feel
before the show, backstage?
Yeah, or something that maybe we'd be surprised needs to happen. I feel like there's just so much that happens in your world that you're like, oh yeah, of course everyone does this chant before they go on stage. And we'd be like, what? We never get to see those little moments.
I mean, it's pretty anticlimactic, right? After we do VIP, it's, all right, where's the food? Where's the coffee? Can we go get coffee? Can I take a nap? What time do we have to be on stage? Where do I have to be next? Okay. And then that is basically what happens leading up to show. So if you think we're in the back, putting attending a circus or doing all these crazy things, we're really not. I mean, usually Dan's working on stuff for soccer. Jacob's on FaceTime with his kids. There's things that are not as, sexy as you think would be happening. It's pretty low key. It's pretty subdued, to be honest. But that's kind of the way we get ready for and save our energy for stage. And then we get on stage and we give you, an hour and a half of a rock and roll show.
Best show
tons
ever.
Tons of pop. So maybe it's a good thing we're not exuding too much energy prior to getting on stage.
What about after? How does someone come down from the high of, and especially you being woo, it all went off without a hitch?
Well, I guess it depends on how far we have to drive after the show and where we are. It's tough because, 9 times out of 10, when we get on our runs and we do 4 shows a weekend and whatnot, we're up early in the morning to drive to the next venue or get to the next spot. So after the show, we do selfie line. We kind of pack up our stuff. If guys are hungry, maybe we'll grab something on the way. But it's getting to your hotel room and trying to find ways to wind down, whether that's a shower, jumping on social media, whatever it is. But
reading a book, it just makes me laugh.
Break out the Kindle, it could be. Like I said, I don't know what everyone else does. I'm just saying, I get back to the room, shower, try to like follow up with whatever sports I missed during the day or whatever and try to knock out. But there's not much happening after the show. We're all in our, mid 40s. So it's like, trying to find time to sleep and get some rest is like of most important. So it's usually the play.
I mean, you guys have just been go, go, go. The Pop 2000 show and then O-Town also doing their own shows. I mean, Y2K nostalgia, it just couldn't be bigger. Everyone seems to be coming back. There's this insatiable desire to see O-Town and these other bands. What has it been like watching O-Town's fan base respond to their comeback? It feels like every year Pop 2000 gets bigger and bigger.
That's the plan. I mean, that's the idea, right? And God bless our fans. I mean, they're incredible. I mean, most of them are career women now. They've got their jobs and they're doing incredible things in their worlds and stuff. And they take time out of their day to come and be a part of ours. And that is incredible. And they're still doing it. We built new fans from this 2014 now, and we have existing fans, right, from the first run in the 2000s. And it's cool because you see now, a lot of them are bringing their children and they have their kids that are now O-Town fans. And we see it so often and at so many shows, and they're kind of passing the torch down, right? So they're keeping it rolling for us. And that is really, really cool to see because now it's like, all ages. People have asked us for O-Town onesies to sell for merch. So we know it's starting at a really early age, But I mean, they come out and they support us, and the amount of time they put into traveling and being a part of what we do. And they'll come and do 4 shows, just like we do 4 shows. And there's so much respect for the fans that allow us to continue to do this and keep us going and keep building us and chatting us up and posting about us on social media and all the things. And, we attribute a lot of what we're doing still today to the fan base and the fans that keep us going. So thank you to all of the fans out there, all of you guys. We love you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
The Townies are powerful and they are being fed. I mean, O-Town has this new social series that they're doing. We've been hearing new songs, Certified Delulu. What can you tell us about what we Townies can expect in the future?
Well, I mean, you're going to have to kind of wait it out like the rest of them. I mean, we're teasing you a little bit. You're going to have to come to some of these summer shows, I think, and find out firsthand.
I'll see you on July 18th in Hyannis. I'm bringing a group of 8 women who have never seen O-Town before.
Yes. Melody tent with the rotating stage. So that's always a fun one. But yeah, I mean, the show will, we'll be incorporating the new song into that throughout the summer. And we've got Being the Band right now that's streaming on YouTube that you can go and kind of follow what we've been doing leading up to this point and where we are. Yeah, this is a big year for us. I mean, it's the 25th anniversary of the first album. So we're doing some 25th anniversary shows throughout the country sporadically. I mean, we have our first one this week in Nashville here, and it's going to be awesome. We're always up to something. Yeah, I mean, we're doing the album from top to bottom. So
are they going to bring someone on stage for Shy Girl?
Yes.
Joel, you have to
I saw social media. It said yes.
How do we become a Shy Girl? If anyone listening to this wants to be the Shy Girl, how does one become the Shy Girl?
You have to go onto the
post.
Posted some stuff. We have some stuff posted. So if you're interested in some of the other shows that we'll be doing, you'll have to follow the posts and the rules and all the things.
Instagram, anyone listening to this, if you want to be a Shy Girl like we all do and have wanted to be since we all watched the New York City live concert in 2001.
Yeah. Yes, you do. Yes.
All right, Joel, what can you tell us about the boy band cruise in November? Mary and I are going to be there. We're so excited. What can fans expect from O-Town?
We're excited. We are super excited for this. It's obviously our whole crew, right? So we've got all the Pop 2000 there. We will be there. Obviously, we're doing a O-Town brunch Saturday morning before you get off and do your excursions for the day or whatnot. So we'll be doing that. You may see some cameos in some of the other events that are happening. You don't know who someone might pop up at one of the events and that kind of thing, but we'll be out and about. I mean, it's a cruise ship, so you'll probably, run into us somewhere, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be in November, but the weather will probably be nice. So it'll be a great experience for everyone that's coming. It'll be a great experience for us. We're super excited for it. So we hope to see everybody there. Yeah.
Just to wrap up, what's next for you? Is anything on your horizon exciting that you're looking forward to or anything going on?
This is a busy year for us and we love it. We'll take it. And I mean, for me, it's busy and I'm busy and I'm just excited to be on this run. So for me, whatever they're doing is kind of what I'm doing. So I'm excited for whatever happens. Like we kind of have an outlook for the whole year. It's exciting. We got a lot of dates, a lot of new places that we haven't been, a lot of new faces that we'll see and people will get to see our show. New fans to be had. So I kind of roll with whatever the schedule is at this point. Do I have anything personally going on? No, can't really have personal life. Like, in the biz, like with this, I'm not home enough, no pets, no responsibilities. So I kind of go where we go. So I guess you can know kind of what my outlook is by looking at what our schedule looks like. I guess that's the easiest way to just kind of figure out what I've got going on. It's the easiest thing.
Oh.
Is the easiest thing. So it'll be an exciting year and we're looking forward to it and into next year and beyond. Yeah.
We can't wait. O-Town is really lucky to have you, Joel. We're later in life Townies is what we call ourselves. But you guys made us feel so welcome. So we are always singing the praises of O-Town. And Joel, you specifically, I was really close to making Joel t-shirts for the last show we went to, but didn't want to freak you out too much, We don't want to love bomb you.
I appreciate it.
Well, Joel, thank you so much for sharing your stories with us. Can't wait to see you guys this summer on Pop 2000. See you on the road.
All right. We'll see you all out there. Take care. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, Joel. Okay. That was our conversation with Joel. Wow. He's so interesting and
humble.
I know. And I just think he has such an interesting role and such a unique perspective of watching one of the greatest boy bands of all time, like all the different points of their career. He's been there by their side from a personal perspective and also the professional business side of it. I love his story. He's just like the example of someone just like making it work and using the tools in your toolkit to like forge your own path.
Yeah.
And it sounded to me, my lesson from that conversation is like, where there's a will, there's a way. You're just going to figure it out.
My lesson was we could become tour managers.
Right. Because we will just figure it out.
Taking your experience you have and using it to your advantage to wrangle men.
And we weren't just pumping Joel's tires. Like O-Town VIP is absolutely one of the most unique experiences that we have ever had. And you guys know we love a VIP moment. If there's a VIP, like we are purchasing it, we are doing it. And O-Town has consistently stood out to us as one of the most unique VIP experiences. And so much of that is because of Joel. They're not going to leave you waiting. You don't feel like you're in a cattle line, like waiting for a selfie and then they rush you past. This is totally the band ethos. And it is from every point once you step in that door. So we are not just saying that to be nice. You guys know we're not going to just say things on here.
We have about 4 episodes like gushing over past O-Town VIPs and concerts. So the proof is in the pudding. Thank you so much, Joel, for joining us. And thank you, sweet listeners, for tuning in.
Thank you all so much. We appreciate you so much. Make sure that you're following us at When They Popped Pod on Instagram and TikTok if you want to see exclusive clips from this episode. And make sure to check out our Patreon if you haven't already. Leave us a review if you're feeling generous, and we may just read it on our next episode. Thank you all and have an amazing week.
Bye.